Mcdudes.
Mcdudes.
Episode 6.
Episode 6. Welcome back. It's been a month.
It's been a while. But it's my fault.
No, it's our fault.
I feel like it's my fault because
you came out of some shit, and then I got sick for 2 weeks. Obviously my voice is not as velvety as it usually is. And, life hits sometimes, and you just gotta deal.
Yeah,
Nothing wrong with that. Yeah.
There's been a lot of Marvel shit.
Yeah,
that's happened.
A lot of good Marvel shit that's happened.
The last time we did an episode,
we talked about
episode 2,
episode 1.
Maybe.
Yeah, I listened to it today. I listened to it again today. We talked about it sounds great.
Okay.
We talked about the first episode and Morbius.
Morbius.
Honestly, we can blame the last month on us needing to recover from fucking Morbius.
That's a thing. It was traumatic. It was a traumatic.
It was a
Marvel
traumatic experience.
Yeah.
SMU PTSD.
There you go.
Sony Spider-Man Universe PTSD.
Dude, okay, speaking of, they got this. Oh my god.
Oh, you saw the Kraven the Hunter thing, didn't you?
No, the Bad Bunny.
Oh, playing El Muerte or whatever.
Yeah.
Who?
Why?
Who?
Where?
What?
When?
No idea, dude.
Fucking why?
How?
Dude, all the things.
It's dumb.
It's probably I've never seen a $1 billion company
grasp at straws harder.
Consistently make the worst decisions.
They're trying so hard to prove to Marvel that they deserve to have it still.
This seems like,
and it seems like they're actually proving the opposite.
What was that company? There was a company, a movie company that took over Superman and destroyed it. Right, Christopher Reeve Superman, and just destroyed it.
Sure.
And it was like they became known for this. And I have to look it up and show you because I saw a documentary about it somewhere. But they just made the worst decisions on almost to the point where it became on purpose, right? Can't be almost, but I feel like Sony's turning into that with this specifically.
There's some stuff with Kraven the Hunter that makes me think it might be okay. Because the director and the writers.
I just don't like Aaron Johnson.
You don't like Aaron Taylor Johnson?
Not in that role, no.
Oh, he's not big enough.
I think
Kraven
is an imposing figure.
Kraven the Hunter's huge.
One of my lifelong
just cast John Cena.
Well, nah, he can't. That's my Peacemaker.
No, he's too good as Peacemaker.
He's so good at Peacemaker.
Also, I can't see John Cena with a beard.
No, I don't want to. I know his face is part of his brand.
Literally. His jaw, his entire...
Yeah.
Everything about him looks like it's made of rock. Putting the hair on it would just obscure.
Yeah.
Aaron Taylor Johnson's not big enough, I don't think. But if you've seen Tenet, he's in Tenet, and he's big in Tenet. He's the guy that leads Blue Team.
Yeah. It's not that
the red team, no, the blue team.
It's not that I want my MCU to be pure.
Yeah.
So
thank God they have the X-Men. Thank God the MCU has the X-Men because I could not weather another attempt at the X-Men. We just need Spider-Man's Rogues Gallery to come back.
It's so weird
because it's so fucking weird that it's so weird.
It's so fucked up.
It's so fucked up.
As a fan, it's fucked up.
Can you imagine getting a Marvel Spider-Man movie that's all MCU controlled, that's got Spider-Man and Mr. Negative and fucking Wilson Fisk
and Tom Hardy's Venom?
Sure.
He's good. He's good to roll.
Sony fucked that up for us too, though, because the MCU was but at the end of Venom 2, he's in the universe now, and they're like, all right, fine. And then they were like, you can't use him for No Way Home. So
that's what happened?
Apparently. So Tom Hardy shows up in the post-credits and then gets warped back to his fucking universe.
So dumb.
He's not even in the MCU.
And then they leave a drop of the symbiote, which I fucks with that idea.
Sure.
Here's how they can fix it.
If it finds the other Tom Hardy?
If it finds our Tom Hardy.
Alternate universe Tom Hardy?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure,
and
why
he's
not?
in New York, and he's a fucking photographer, too.
No Way Home sets that up, dog.
Yeah.
Peter and Flash both doing photography for the Daily Bugle.
Yeah.
I don't think Peter would work for the Bugle, though.
You don't think so?
Now that the Bugle is the InfoWars parallel.
Well, maybe... I don't know. I kind of have to see that story go through, though, don't we?
Yeah, but why would Peter work for J. Jonah Jameson at this point?
J. Jonah Jameson have no idea who he is, so...
And I guess he's the only one who can get pictures of Spider-Man.
Yeah.
I just want that so bad. I want to go back to Peter trying to bust to make rent.
And maybe
getting pictures of himself.
Maybe... I'm reaching, right?
That's what we do. It's what we do.
I'm Reed Richards. Maybe we have a flashback with Tobey Maguire, and he's like, "Hey, if you want to make extra money, this is what I do in my universe. I take pictures of myself."
Sure.
And that's
into the Spider-Verse, that shit. Let him pop in and be like, "By the way, you should go there."
Or even we're just throw it in as a flashback. I don't know.
Yeah.
There's a way.
Yeah. What are you gonna fight dressed as a weird youth pastor.
As a weird youth pastor?
It's like, no, I got it on. It's right here.
That was a funny joke.
Fucking best. Fucking best.
I feel like I want to beat around the bush because it's so hard to talk about something so good and so right now without spoiling it.
Yeah. Okay, well, before we say anything, we're not going to talk about Moon Knight this week. We'll do a Moon Knight recap next week when we talk about, I guess, the finale of the show, because it's coming to an end this week. It's now. But instead, we've all seen Doctor Strange. This will be coming out, I assume, tomorrow on Friday. Yeah. So happy May 7th, 6th. Mm-hmm. But Tech got to go see it on Monday. I got to go see it on Wednesday. Tech's going again on Thursday with Ben.
Today is Thursday.
But
you're talking in a way that's smart, and I'm not.
It's fine.
Okay, here we go.
So now the whole Nerdy Bits crew has watched it. Now Tech has watched it. So we're going to talk about fucking Doctor Strange. So what Tech is saying is that, like, we want to talk about this, but we want to talk about it in a way where we can talk about it.
Yeah.
And instead, we have to be polite.
We have to do no spoiler version, and then
we'll do a spoiler version in about a month. Yeah,
in a month. Yeah,
sure. I mean, at this rate, as soon as Marvel starts putting out trailers with spoilers in it, we should do a spoiler cast.
Absolutely.
That's probably like 2 weeks.
So here's what we can't talk about. We can't talk about plot details.
Right.
We can't talk about cameos.
Right.
Which is going to be very hard to do. We can't talk about anything in the end. We can't talk about end credits.
Nope.
So we can't even talk about who the villain is if we're going to keep it spoiler free.
We're going to keep it 100. Yeah.
How do we fucking talk about this?
Well, that's the thing. The trailers do a really good job of misleading you, I think. The trailers give you the main actors, largely. They don't clarify who the villain is. They don't clarify really what the plot details are. I leaned over to Ryan in the movie about 30 minutes in and was like, all of the trailers have been all of the stuff up until now.
There may
There's like one or two moments that are later.
Clips from later, but the majority of the trailer was the first 15 minutes of the movie, which is something that
the Russos started.
The Russos started that. Oddly enough, Kevin Feige came out yesterday and said he feels like the trailer told too much. So he feels.
I think it does. I think it did too. But I think it's vague enough that it's not like revealing. It's just when you see it, you're like, oh damn. They showed that.
I always get the feeling that there's certain things, and like in trailers, there's certain jokes that I'd rather just discover within it, right? Yeah. And they always, especially with movies like these, where they're not comedies, right? But they always have to have some funny aspect, and they normally always put that in the trailer. And I always hate them when they do stuff like that.
Sure, yeah. Punchlines should be saved for when you're in the movie.
But they have to do the trailer in a way that makes it enticing, right? Visually. So they literally put everything. I feel like. Everything in there was the visual parts, the super dope visual parts, right?
Yeah, sure.
In the trailer they had Wanda walking up to Wanda, which was, not in the beginning, not in the first 15 minutes. But you definitely needed to see that. The zoom in on the eye, that was something that was cinematically amazing that you needed to see.
Yeah.
And I'm glad they had that in there.
Yeah.
What parts did you not want in the trailer that you got in the trailer?
I think I would have been a lot more happy if the trailer didn't have any indication that there was going to be a zombie Strange.
It was fun. It was a fun misleading.
Because when it was, and we won't tell you why it's misleading. But when that moment happened, I was still very fucking excited.
Yeah.
But if I hadn't known that was gonna fucking happen, and it had hit me, holy shit.
But you also can't have this is Marvel's first horror movie, and don't put that in the trailer.
Yeah.
You have to have that visual in the trailer because when he is looking at his hand in the trailer and it's all fucked up and he's fucked up and the arms behind him and he's twitching. You had to put it in there because you had.
That's the draw, right?
That's the draw.
I gotta go.
This is horror, and that's the genre where we want you to go into it thinking of.
So let's talk about that.
Okay.
Marvel's first horror movie, soft horror.
Soft horror, very soft.
Not hard, not like. I always said this while we were getting ready. Not like Hereditary horror, like scary. Mm-hmm. More like Sam Raimi's Scary, which is like fighting monsters and some creepy shit
and tense.
More thrillers.
More tense than anything.
Yeah, there's a moment in the movie where someone's using reflections
to
like fuck stuff up, and it's not great.
No, it's jump scare.
It's
terrifying.
Not great. I was like, ugh.
The first thing I thought was, why does this place have so many puddles? But that's
also plot devices.
It's like y'all need to get a mop and some
But also
towels.
that the person that was using reflections was in like a hall of mirrors, and so when they come out, they're all cut up because they had to like walk through those mirrors. Fucking great. Fucking great. There's a moment where a picture frame has a person in it that turns as someone walks by. I just got goosebumps.
I see it.
Not great. Not great. I was like, okay. So there are absolutely horror elements, but I don't think that, like, if you don't like horror movies, you should stay away from this.
Because if you're a kid, you should stay away from this.
This movie's not made for kids, 100%.
It's
violent.
13 and older.
It's violent.
It's PG-13, right?
It's got to be. It's not rated R.
Right. So you're 13 and older. Don't bring your kids under 13, and if you do, make sure that they've already seen some shit. You know what I'm saying? Like,
if your kid watches horror movies with you, you'll be fine. Right. But if you keep them from that,
it's not terrifying. Like, I wouldn't.
I'm not gonna have nightmares.
That's what I was about to say.
Yeah.
I couldn't see myself having a nightmare afterwards. But if I was maybe 10, I might. It's possible.
Yeah, if I was young, there would absolutely be some shit that'd be like.
It's a mature topic too.
Yeah.
Like the overall topic of it.
Yeah.
It's very mature.
Yeah. Yeah, and they play a lot with like roles that like there are people that like say I am a this or I am a that, and you're like, ugh, really tying their like motivation to like believing they should be a way. And it's really interesting. It's really interesting like investigation into like maybe how people take those roles wrong or take them too far. It's a violent movie. I have to point out, like the beginning of the movie, there's
extreme violence,
a big bad that like gets javelined essentially, and I was like, oh, cool. They just showed that, and then like the javelin comes out, and I was like, oh my god, like
it was fun.
We're just going for it. This is gonna be violent. This is a bet.
Just to talk about that scene, it was fun to see Doctor Strange as a realized superhero. We haven't really seen that. Right, we saw a little bit. Say Infinity War, Infinity War, where we saw him battling Thanos. During his movie, we didn't really see that aspect of the Sorcerer Supreme.
Yeah, he's not like going around the city saving people when shit goes down.
Yeah, no, we don't. We never see that, right? So we get to see everyone's powers in Avengers, but like with him, you don't really see that until the Thanos battle. And this, like, oh shit, he actually is that guy, right? Because you've seen Spider-Man turn into that guy, right? Yeah. Like he's like, oh shit, I gotta go. They made the MCU based off of Robert Downey Jr. going from
popping
Tony
the
Stark
suit on whenever
into Iron Man. So you see him become that guy. But you never really seen Doctor Strange be like, oh, it's popping off. I'm that guy. Let me go get that.
Let me take my scarf off and then like hop off this building.
And that shit was
quick.
hard.
Good.
That shit was beautiful. So it was fun to see him as powerful as he's grown to be. It's kind of funny that we actually haven't really seen that. Like we saw like in No Way Home, he's just doing spells.
Yeah, really.
You know, like he's not fighting anybody.
This is like full weaponized Strange. Like, there's a moment, obviously, no spoilers, because how would you fucking get the spoiler out of this? There's a moment in this movie where a fight takes place between two people and they're using music notes.
I thought that was...
and it fucking rules. It's so weird.
At first, I was like, that's kind of corny. But then I was like, that's kind of fire, actually.
Yeah.
Because
I was like, what? And then it kept happening. I was like... Wait, hold on. This rules. Yeah. This is actually kind of fucking cool. Because, like, if I'm reading a comic...
I expect to see that.
And I see that shit, I'm going to be like, dope.
Yeah.
You see it in a movie, and at first you're like, this is some Disney, Fantasia shit. And then, like, it keeps going, and you're like, why does this work?
If you did it once, it would have been super corny.
Yeah.
They had to keep going for
it. But it went back and forth, and the music changed, and I was like, this is great. It's awesome.
That's what someone who's a genius with magic would do.
Yeah.
They would also. It's kind of felt like some Green Lantern shit, but I liked it. I liked it a lot.
And the fact that like the music notes are blocked by like someone pulling up a staff bar and catching the notes on the staff bar and then changing the notes.
Yeah,
and fucking great.
That's kind of a spoiler.
Nah,
I feel like that. I feel like we just added that into our trailer, and so whoever sees this may have seen that.
If you're listening to this and there's a weird cut, it's because I said some shit I shouldn't have.
Well, not so much, but just
Yeah.
Maybe we'll. I don't know how we can fix that.
I just won't bring it up again.
Yeah. So that's a plot detail. So we want to avoid.
It's a plot detail. Yeah. This movie jumps all over the fucking place. Which like America Chavez, as a character in the Marvel universe, has this ability to jump between universes. They fuck with that a lot. It's one of the most fucking mobile Marvel movies I've watched in a minute. They're all over the place all the time.
It's hard to keep track.
They keep moving. They keep moving. And they have this really creative, not creative in that like no one's ever done it, but they're really smart about like jumping between who's doing what. Right?
Yeah,
they follow one group and then switch to another group that was doing something. And then like a big plot beat hits, and then it jumps back to another group.
Yeah.
And then a plot beat hits, and it jumps to the third group, and it just jumps back and forth. And so the whole time you're keeping up, which I think works like with the story of the movie, because the characters are all trying to fucking keep up the whole time. Like, what the fuck is going on? It's a lot, dog.
It's a lot. It's a lot. Too much.
Is it too much?
That's the question.
That is the question.
Do you think it had too much going on? Was it being too ambitious for only 2 hours and 6 minutes?
Well, we talked about this too. I think that like I expected more to happen in this movie, and I think this movie is pretty small compared to what it could have been. I think that we both went into this like this is gonna be huge.
Yeah.
We're gonna see all sorts of stuff, and like it's not that it's not big, but it's not as big as it could have been, which I'm thankful for. But I will say this is maybe the first time in a Marvel movie where I got a little bit of the like, oh, there's just too much happening for one movie.
So you thought it was just crowded
A
plots.
little crowded. Not so much that I dislike it though. Also, I think that like we've gotten
Name another movie that feels crowded, so I have a comparison of what you're like thinking.
like No Way Home.
You think No Way Home is too crowded?
Not too crowded, but there's a fucking ton happening.
But I feel like the acts are specific
Sure.
in No Way Home.
I'm more
and the tone changes
Yeah.
signifies the change of the act.
So I guess what I was gonna say in a second, but what I should say now is I don't know if I mean like crowded in a bad sense. More that like I think the last 3 Marvel movies we've gotten, which are this, No Way Home, and Eternals, are huge movies. Lots going on, lots of characters to keep track of, a lot of things happening at once, taking place over enough time that you're trying to figure out how to keep track of what's happening.
Yeah.
And I kind of miss the Ant-Mans, which is why I love Moon Knight. Because Moon Knight's like, no, it's right here. It's these people. That's it.
The first Marvel project that did not have a cameo from another Marvel project.
Sure.
First one.
That's a big deal.
It's huge. That means they can tell you a story without relying on someone else.
And I think that like maybe Thor: Love and Thunder might be smaller even than this, and that like it's gonna be about Thor and Jane.
Might be a personal story.
Yeah, and I think that Doctor Strange maybe isn't too complex or too busy. I think that I'm maybe just a little fatigued with Marvel movies that are huge, and I'm ready to get back into some of the smaller, more personal.
But I think
movies.
the problem is
how do you go back?
Public opinion, right? Because everything that's smaller on Disney Plus does not get the love.
Sure.
Moon Knight's getting the love.
Moon Knight is.
But like
Moon Knight is exceptional though.
it is. It's because the actors and the story and the director, the writer. He's the shit.
Episode
I follow
5.
him on Twitter
Episode
now.
5 is one of the most well performed episodes of a TV show I've seen in a long time.
It is good.
Oscar Isaac puts in so much fucking work as his multiple personality. It rules. It's so well organized and so well performed. Not that these movies aren't well performed.
Shang-Chi.
Shang-Chi is pretty small.
Small. I think the reason we're getting these expectations where like we want them to be big but they're small, and they feel crowded though because they are. I can make an argument that every movie that we've talked about is crowded.
Sure.
I think it's because of the reset that they're trying to do.
Yeah, these big movies are absolutely setting the table.
Yeah.
Right? Like Doctor Strange is setting up so many different things.
I mean, dude, I want to say so much,
Yeah.
but even the designation of our reality, like
Sure.
like that is so much more information than we've had before.
Also not what I thought I was going to hear
Yeah, what do you
when
think?
they said it.
Well, yeah,
I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, because I think last episode you thought it was Earth 999.
1999.
Yeah, but it's not.
1999.
But it makes sense though.
It does, but it implies some things.
Like
Like
is it spoiler?
who else is here, or who else could be here, or maybe who we haven't met yet. So I'm not going to say the number that they say. There are so many different Earths.
Yeah, but this is one of the big ones though.
It is one of the big ones, and I honestly just thought that like 1999 was what they were going with.
They never did say that though,
and they never said it out loud. That was just what we assumed. So
they're so good at that, and I love.
They imply
Marvel.
so heavy until they're like, but what if no?
Dude, years. They called Wanda for fucking years, and then Agatha Harkness says you're the Scarlet Witch, and I felt gut punched.
I was like, oh.
felt kicked in the balls. Like, why did I not realize they never mentioned this motherfucker's name?
Yeah.
How did they do that?
Yeah.
I don't get it. It baffles my mind that it works every time. I felt the same dumbness when, and this is something that people aren't going to feel me on, but I felt that same gut punch when, I know this is dumb, Batman vs. Superman, and he says Martha, and I was like, my entire life,
Never